Hi everyone, it's Bethany, and in this tutorial I am going to be creating a monogram in Cricut Design Space, and then I'm going to be placing it with iron-on onto this leatherette pouch. So I have this pouch and it is for my day planner. So it's a planner pouch and you can place your planner and a couple accessories inside. It has a really pretty navy lining inside. It's so pretty, and it has a really nice gold zipper on top. So I am in love with it. I just opened it. I haven't even used it yet. So I am really excited because I want to just personalize this a little bit and just make it a little bit more me. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut out my monogram on this really nice navy smart iron-on. So we'll use the Cricut Joy. And then this material is leatherette. So from my understanding, leatherette, and from what I've looked online, leatherette is just a faux leather. So we'll look up some heat settings for faux leather, and then I'm going to be using the mini EasyPress to apply my smart iron-on to this little pouch. So I'm super excited to see how this turns out. I've actually had this on my to-do list for about 3 months, so I've decided I'm just going to sit down and tackle my to-do list lately. Okay, so what we're going to need is, of course, some smart iron-on, our little planner pouch. We're going to use the Cricut Joy. I potentially will be using some heat-resistant tape, so I just placed that over here. And then, of course, the mini EasyPress and a weeding tool. And then I also have my heat mat, so I'll be using that as well when it's time to apply the iron-on to my little pouch. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and go into Cricut Design Space, and I'll show you how to create a monogram, and then we will get it all cut out on the Joy and placed on the pouch.
Okay, so now that we're in Cricut Design Space, we are going to make a monogram, and we are going to go to the text box and we are going to come up to the font. And what I did is, I believe it's on dafont.com, but you can download a font called Monogramos. And so I'm going to look up that in my little search bar here, and let's see what I can find. It's right here. And if you just Google Monogramos, you'll be able to locate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my monogram. So my monogram is B, oops, I'm going to do lowercase. Okay, so BDR. So let me show you. If you do lowercase, this is how your monogram will look. Just like this. And I'll make this bigger. Now, if you decide that you want to, let me add another text box. If you want to do all capital letters, this is how the font will look. Just like this. So this will look just a little bit different. So it kind of depends on what look you're going for, if you want to have the letters cut out and then apply the letters, or if you want to have more of a circle and then the letters be little cutouts of inside. So you'll just decide which one you want. I'm going to do this. So again, this was created by just doing lowercase letters, but again, this is possible as well, and you'll just put your little caps lock on your computer, or just make them all capital letters. So I'm going to delete this. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to ungroup each of my letters. And now they're all just standalone letters. So now I just need to make this into my actual monogram. And I have several tutorials on this, but if you're new to doing this, I'll just repeat it so that you guys can see how to do it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab a shape, and we're going to grab a square, and we will go ahead and unlock it. Cricut Design Space is a tiny bit slow this entire weekend, so it's been a little bit hard to craft with it being this slow. And then what we're going to do is we are actually going to duplicate our box, let's see, 4 times, I believe. So I'm going to just drag them over here so that we have them ready to go. So what we're going to do is we are going to slice our little design, and we are going to edit it by slicing. So how that works is, for our first monogram, we want to keep the B. This is what we want to keep. So when you're slicing, what you do is you just place your rectangle over the area that you want to take away, and then you will highlight both the design and the rectangle, and you'll come down to this button right here and say slice. And now what you can do is you can delete everything that comes out of that little slice. So now you're just left with the B. So now the next part is keeping the middle D. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and place one of the rectangles over the left side. Now you can only slice 2 layers at a time, unfortunately, so you have to do these separate. So we'll just do the left D first, and again come down and click slice, and we will delete the result. And then again we'll repeat by doing the right D, by again covering what we don't want, and then highlighting both and clicking slice. So it's really easy to do. It's a really fast way to edit a little cut file that you have. And so then over here, we're just placing these all together and putting our monogram back together. So again, I'm gonna unlock this and I'm keeping the right R. I'm going to cover the left 2, highlight both, and then select slice. So it's really easy. Now, once you have your monogram made, you can save your monogram in Cricut Design Space. So you'll just come up and, whoops, let me get that out of the way. You'll click save and just say monogram in the little text box. That way, once you have your monogram all made, you've done all the work once and you can recreate this into anything you want. So you can put it on a coffee cup, which I have a tutorial for and I'll link it here. And you can put it on a shirt, you can do anything you want. So now I'm just going to kind of drag these together. And I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say align, and then I'm going to say distribute horizontally, and that's going to make sure there's even spacing in between my letters. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say, I'm going to center vertically. There we go. So now we have them centered horizontally, centered vertically, and now it is an even monogram. So now what we can do is we will highlight everything and we will weld it together. And this is going to be our final look. For some reason, this, I'm going to hit undo. I know it technically is centered, but for some reason, I kind of want to drag this in just a hair. It just looked a little bit off to me. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab everything and I will weld it together. Okay, so now we have our monogram. So now what I need to do is I need to just see how big I want my monogram to be on my pouch. And I forgot to do that. So I'm just gonna grab my measuring tape behind the scenes and do a quick measurement. So I think I'm gonna do 4.5 by 4.5. So I'm gonna come up here to my size and I'm just gonna type in 4.5. And that's gonna be the size that I'm going to do. So now what I'm gonna do is I have my joy selected. You can do this on any cutting machine. I'll go ahead and select make it. And then it's going to place it on my smart material here. So what I will do now is I will go over here to mirror. And since it's iron-on, you want to mirror your image. So I have that on, and then I can click continue. Then I can go ahead and go to popular and find my smart iron-on, and I'll select that. It's going to remind us to do shiny side down and have mirror on, which it is, and then we'll use default pressure. So now I'm going to look up my heat guide instructions so that I can preheat my mini EasyPress and know how to apply it to faux leather. So I'm going to click the EasyPress Mini because that's the press I'll be using today. I'm going to select my smart iron-on right down here. And then my base material is going to be a faux leather. And then I'm going to select apply. So it says there's going to be low temperature. So that's where we'll preheat it to. We'll do it for 30 seconds with constant movement and light pressure, and then it's a cold peel. So that'll be very helpful for preheating our mini EasyPress while we are cutting out our design.
Okay, so I'm just going to get my smart iron-on out of the box here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it through my Joy, and since this is matless cutting, you don't need to do a mat, so we will just place it in just like this. So there is an obvious shiny side, and then there is a dull side. So you want to place the shiny side down, and then you're going to just gently load it against the wheels, and it will pull it in. Now it's just measuring to make sure we have enough material to complete the cut, and then we can click go on our device and it will get cutting, and this will be a really fast cut. So now behind the scenes, I just used my little measuring tape here to get an idea of where I want to have my design in terms of size. So I again decided on a 4.5-inch circle for my monogram. And now we'll just preheat this little mini. So we will go ahead and turn it on, and then it will be already on the little 1 setting. So it just has one little wavy mark, which means low. So we'll get that preheated. That'll go really quick as well. All in all, this is a really quick little craft. And this is already done. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer just so I can cut off my extras, and then we'll get to weeding. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my smart material, and I'm just going to place it through my paper trimmer because I like to have a nice clean cut on the final scraps. That way it goes through my joy a little bit nicer. So I'm just going to cut this off. Make sure I don't cut into my design, but save as much as I can. And the little mini, it's already green and it's beeped, so that's preheated. So we will be all set. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and get this weeded and we'll get it ready to go on our little pouch. Okay, so I just have my little weeding tool here, and what I'm going to do is, while it's still shiny side down, I'm going to go ahead and weed it. So weeding is just taking away all of the areas that you don't want in your final design. So for the way I designed my monogram, it's going to be all the surrounding areas, leaving the letters on the sheet. So the shiny is actually, now you can see, a built-in little carrier sheet that you will use to place your design on your craft. So that's really helpful with iron-on, and that's why you mirror it. So I'm just going to take all that surrounding away, and then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to get the middles of my letters. So I've got the R and then the D. And then I have my B. So now you will see in just a second the final look, and then it'll kind of come together on why you need to mirror it if you're new to iron-on. Okay, so there's all of our scraps, and now we'll turn it over, and then you have your design the right way up, and this is how you'll lay it down on your project. So now we'll grab our little pouch. So now this has a sticky back, so this will be really helpful with laying it down on our project, and then we'll be able to get everything centered. So I don't know that I'll need, I might need, no, I don't think I'll need the, it's going to depend on your design and how much sticky you have. But I don't think I'm going to need my heat resistant tape, but no, it's there if you need to place some heat resistant tape on there just to help things. I like heat resistant tape a lot, especially with infusible ink, but also it's helpful with the mini as well, because the mini is a press that you will move around while you're pressing and not just lay flat. So it's nice sometimes just to have the extra assurance that your design isn't going to move underneath all of that movement. So now I'm just going to center this where I want it. And I'm kind of using the design itself as a guide on the back, the pattern. So I'm going to kind of get this. Okay. So let me see where that kind of comes with measuring and see how close I'm at. So I'm about 4 inches, and I'm about 4 inches. That's great. And then I'm about a little over 2 and a little over 2. So I'm going to stick with that. That looks really good to my eye. It could go up a little bit, but it's kind of at the risk of, let me just try moving it up just a tad. Okay, and again with iron-on, you can, put it, peel it up and then re-stick it down if you want to move the location of your design, so that's really nice as well. And now I'm at about 2 1/4, and I'm at about 2 1/4. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to be happy with that. Okay, so now it's on there, and I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on there just in case, because I'm nervous and I really want this to turn out super nice. So I'm just going to grab a tiny bit of tape and just make sure that it stays down. Okay. So now I'm going to place my heat mat right underneath, and then I'll place this right on top. Okay. And then it says that we're going to do constant movement at low temperature for 30 seconds. So in the background, I will just have a little timer on my phone. And I think I'm going to approach one letter at a time just to kind of keep it more manageable. And I'm just going to be careful. I don't want to, damage the leather or anything, or the faux leather. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to grab this, and I think I'm going to just start with the R. And I'm going to be careful not to get off of the carrier sheet. So I don't want to put this on the leather directly, but instead I'm just going to stay on that little carrier sheet, which is easy to monitor with the Mini because you can see it really, really well. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around. Again, I'm just doing one letter at a time. Ooh, that was a fast 30 seconds. Okay, and now I'm going to start with the middle. Just doing the middle letter. And I'm doing constant movement. Okay, and then I'll do the last one. So does anyone else have little nagging tasks, or I call them nagging tasks. That's what we call them at our house. They're just those tasks that you have on your list that you just keep putting off, and I feel like everybody has these tasks that they just keep putting off, and just finally you just think, I've got to tackle that task so I don't have to see it on my to-do list anymore. So what are your guys' nagging tasks? What do you guys what do you have lingering there that you need to get done? Okay, so now it does say cold peel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit, and then we're going to attempt to peel it up and see how well it did and see if we need to do any more pressing. Something that's helpful is if you remove it from the heat mat and just kind of set it on a cool surface, because then it will help draw out that heat a little bit faster. And you'll be careful, it's really warm, so just monitor that and be careful. So now that it's cool, I'm going to start in this corner, and I'm going to start peeling up. And I'm just starting this way because this is the first letter that I did. So I'm just going to start there. And I'm just going to start slowly peeling up, and I'm going to monitor my iron-on and make sure that I'm not seeing any lifting. And then I have my tape right there too. Okay. So far, so good. And I'm just going slow, taking my time. It looks really good. And this iron-on this is the navy, and it's a matte finish, so it's just really smooth looking. I love it. Okay. Oh, I think I had a little bit right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up, and I'm just going to kind of bend it a little bit and just see if there's any lifting. Maybe it was my eye that just thought, nope, there is. Do you see there's a little bit of lifting right there? Let me check all the other edges though. I think all the other edges got it. And that could have just been simply me not getting my press there. There's a tiny bit down here, and that one's good. So I have just a little bit at the bottom of the D. I have a little bit at the top of the B. What I'll do is I'll take my carrier sheet, place it right back over, and this protects the iron-on from the heat. And then I will just do a little focus press. So I'll just do a little bit in this area right up here. In fact, you know what I'll do is I will probably actually just go around that perimeter. I need my little mat under here. I'll just probably go around that perimeter just to give it a little extra assurance. And it just doesn't hurt to be sure, just in case I miss anything else as well. And then definitely down at the bottom of this D, and of course being careful not to get my iron on the actual leather, so I'm staying on that carrier sheet in the little guidelines there. And I'm just doing like maybe 5 seconds in those areas. Again, constant movement. Okay. So we'll let that cool down again, and we will recheck it and make sure everything looks great, and then we should be done. Okay, so it is now cool again, so I will just go ahead and re-peel up my carrier sheet, and I'll check those particular areas to make sure that they are better, and they are. Looks good. And this one is good as well. So they all look really good. And again, I had done like a little bit more of a focus press all the way around. And the leather looks really good. So it worked really nice. So now I can just place my planner. So I have my little planner here. I can place my planner inside. And I can place a couple pens. I can place whatever I'd like inside. It's a really nice size little pouch, and I can zip it shut, and then I have all that I need. So it's really, really cute. I love how this turned out. I'm really excited that now this is off my task list, and now I can just enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was super easy, super quick. The mini is really a saving grace for a project like this. It's really nice because it helps us to avoid, you know, the seams and the zippers, and it's just a nice little small project. So I loved using that there. So be sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and let me know what's on your task list that you need to accomplish, because we've all got that something that's just lingering. All right, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure you're subscribed because there's some wonderful things coming up. Have a good day.